Who told us midlife is about reinvention? Why must we burn it all down and become someone new? I don't buy it anymore. What if your 40s aren't about becoming someone new, but about taking back the parts of you that were muted, managed, minimized, and made convenient for everyone else? Today, I'll be sharing 20 things I've taken back in my 40s, not to inspire you to reinvent yourself, but to urge you to reclaim yourself. You're listening to the Midlife Plot Twist podcast, and this is episode 20. Hey folks, here we are, another week. It's Monday, of course, and I want to welcome you to the Midlife Plot Twist podcast. If you're here for the first time, I want you to know how honored and happy I am that you've decided to take some time out of your busy life to listen to my very small contribution to the podcast sphere. Here you'll find episodes that are relatable and short at just 10 or 15 minutes long, perfect for even the busiest person. My goal here is to share, develop community, and inspire with a focus on women in their 40s, like me. And I'm Jennifer, but you can call me Jen. Today we've reached episode 20. Episode 20 feels important to me. It feels symbolic. I'm really happy. Episode 10 was like a quiet milestone for me because when I started this podcast, I told myself I would record just 10 episodes and see how I felt about continuing. I wasn't sure if I would be able to do this long term or if I wanted to. Or even if I wanted the commitment of like every Monday. Maybe I wanted to do it once a month or something. Anyway, now at 20 episodes, I feel committed, even dedicated. I have a bunch of other things that I want to do today and contemplated just taking the day or the week off this week, to be honest. But I do feel committed and I feel something driving me to show up for this week after week, Monday after Monday, and it feels good. So in this episode, as I said in the beginning, I'm going to share with you 20 things for 20 episodes that I've reclaimed in my 40s. To do this, I'm picking up on a theme that I spoke about in episode 19 on reinvention versus reclamation. I might riff off of this theme for a while, actually. When I started recording this podcast, I thought it was about reinvention. You can listen back to the first episode and hear about that. But as I've been recording over the past few months, things have shifted and I'm realizing that this is actually more about reclamation. In other words, this moment in my life is not about becoming someone new. It's about taking back what was already mine. To me, reinventions implies something was wrong or out of place or incomplete, where I'd have to go back to the drawing board with myself, so to speak. Excuse me. Reclamation, though, implies that something has been buried or forgotten about or blocked somehow. And in this framework, there's room for me to be the whole and complete person that I am right now, just as I am. I want to know from you, what do you think you might have lost in adulthood or traded to prioritize things like safety, approval, or stability? And what are some aspects of yourself that you might start thinking of taking back? I also want to mention before I continue that anytime I ask a question in these podcast episodes for you to reflect upon your life in some way or another, it is never with judgment. So always approach these things with an open heart and an open mind and a lot of acceptance. So I've grouped these 20 things that I've taken back into 4 categories of things that I've taken back. My inner life, is 1. My boundaries is 2. My body and my direction is the 4th one. In the first category, my inner life, I've taken back the following. Number 1, my intuition. Call it what you want. Gut instinct, first impressions, spidey senses, whatever. This part of my life used to help me make decisions, to heal and grow and create. And I lost it in grad school and my career just because I was trained to favor logic and reason, think critically and argumentatively. And I've taken it back. Number 2, my anger. I blocked myself from feeling anger. I don't feel it. And I'm working on that. At some point in my 20s. While I was a bit of a ragey teenager, sometime in my 20s, I started turning all the anger inward, on myself, to the point that I hated myself. And with that feeling, I would numb it out with food and keeping really busy. And it's a work in progress, but I have taken my anger back. Number 3, my desire. By desire, I mean the things that I feel passionate about in life. My desire for a beautiful, full life and to be surrounded by beauty. My desire is tied to my dreams and ambitions. I've taken back my desire. Number 4, my grief. I've experienced a lot of loss in my life, both personal and intergenerational. I've received messages from the world around me that people are supposed to get over things and move on. But there are some things that I grieve, that are unresolved. Some forms of grief that aren't so simple. And I chose to take back my grief and explore it with compassion, courage, and honesty. Number 5, my voice. My voice. This one is one of the biggest ones for me. My voice is such a teacher, actually, for me. Except for with close loved ones in my life, I barely speak. And that has been the case for my entire life. And I have learned that this is part of my neurodivergence. But I have also been told to be quiet at times in my life, to not rock the boat and not speak up, for example. So I used to tell the world, oh, hey, I'm more of a listener. Please talk away. And I would end up often in dynamics where conversations are more like monologues and I am the audience. But I don't mind. I much prefer listening. However, I recognize that I have things to say and a voice to say them with, and I took back my voice. Now that I've talked about my voice, I realize that there is clanging and clinking in the background. Someone is cooking while I am recording this episode, so if you can hear it, welcome to my home. The next grouping is about boundaries. I think this episode will be too long if I tell a little story with every single one of these 20 things that I've taken back. So I'll name the next 5 in one shot. Number 6, my time. Number 7, my no. Number 8, my standards. Number 9, my pace. And number 10, my energy. This whole category is something that I am still working hard on right now, in therapy, for example, in terms of unmasking my ADHD and autistic traits. I'm also working on pacing and energy conservation with an occupational therapist and a physiotherapist. Next, I've taken back my body. I think I'll spend a little bit of time on this one. Taking back my body includes number 11, my rest, 12, my hunger, 13, my sexuality, 14, my softness, and 15, my strength. First, I've spoken about number 11 before, which is rest. I had to take back my permission and ability to rest. For me, this has meant consciously slowing down, lying down when I need to, taking sensory breaks, and practicing meditation and breath work daily. I do these things very imperfectly. My hunger. I am a hungry person, both literally and figuratively speaking. I want to take everything in. I love food in the best way, and I've had a hard time with it over the course of my life too. I also love knowledge and information, and I've spent my adult life in school learning and taking in new information. These are two examples. I am done being ashamed of how hungry I am in any sense of the word. I've taken back my hunger. Now, my sexuality. Wow, this has been a difficult one for me. I have to say that my sexuality up until my 40s was for men. I was obsessed with studying what men want in a woman sexually and trying to morph and shape shift into that very skewed vision. I wanted to know what are men's preferences and needs and so on, not from a genuine place of caring about it, but from a place of deep insecurity, shame, low self-esteem, and low self-worth. I could go on and on about this one, but I won't. I'll just say that now in my 40s, I've taken back my sexuality. I am, for the first time in my life, really focused on what I want and need, what I prefer and don't. At the same time, I am also impacted by my hormones and go through periods of not giving two shits about sex or sexuality. There are so many other things in life that I'm interested in. But hormone replacement therapy is attempting to address the physical aspects of this at the moment. I might report on that later as well. I also have to say that although I am in a monogamous and committed heterosexual relationship, I've mentioned previously that I'm engaged, I don't identify entirely as heterosexual, and I've never openly shared this before, actually. When I was in my 20s, I thought of myself as bisexual, but I felt so much backlash within the community about that label, as well as for being someone who is femme, that I just disconnected from everything to do with that part of my sexuality for the most part. So, anyways, in my 40s, I accept myself as I am, however I choose to identify. And finally, my softness and my strength. So, as someone who feels that I am built like a linebacker, softness has been a realm that I've both been made to feel excluded from and that I have excluded myself from. Also, I've taken that back actually. I can claim my softness and not equate it with weakness. Also, I have to say that I love pushing weight, lifting weight, strength training, and all that. Not much in the world makes me feel more alive and capable than when I am allowing my body to be as physically strong as it is. As my physical trainer used to tell me, I am a beast. And I'm proud of it now. I hated him when he said that to me. But I'm proud of it now. Okay, the last category of things that I've taken back has to do with my direction, which includes number 16, my ambition, number 17, my creativity, 18, my friendships, 19, my future, and finally, number 20, my authority over my own story. This podcast is turning out to be a huge part of my own story, and I'm so grateful. It's a surprise. I think this actually, I just looked at the clock and I'm like, okay, I think this is a longer episode than usual. I don't think I'll elaborate on this last one, except to list them for your reflection in your own life. So, as I said, things to do with taking back my direction include my ambition, my creativity, my friendships, my future, and my authority over my own story. When I look back at this list, I don't see a new person emerging having taken back these things. I mean, okay, sure, there are new expressions of myself through these things, maybe, but I see that the OG Jen, the original Jen, the untapped Jen, the unexplored Jen is what's emerging here. We don't need to become someone new. We need to embrace the someone we already are. And with that, I will say that this is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please follow the show on whatever platform you use to listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Podbean or whatever. Also, come and find me on Instagram. The account is Midlife Plot Twist Podcast. And there is my phone. And I'm not going to edit this out because I don't have time. My account is Midlife Plot Twist Podcast. And yes, if you'd like to reach out, my email is midlifeplottwistpodcast@gmail.com. Wow, what an episode. Okay, y'all. Until next week, be yourself and be well.